So I felt that I could be that person to discuss those concerns with her.
Just discuss the substance use
Yes.
concerns? And so, and you're aware that the social workers can also screen for those as well?
Yes.
So at 8:51 on December 2nd, you respond to her, right?
I did.
And what do you tell her about the concerns she just expressed in her 7:51 message?
I fully appreciate and understand the concern for benzo tolerance. It's not something I want to happen to my patients ever. That being said, there's a place for benzodiazepines, especially at the beginning and acute phase of treatment and getting someone stable. And then we would always pull back slowly. I think another thing to try tonight would be to take 50 milligrams of Seroquel, the 2 tablets, and see if that works better. The intrusive thoughts are part of postpartum depression, anxiety, very painful to think and experience, but I want to reassure you that it's not uncommon and mean nothing about who you are as a mother. Let me know what you think.
And so the recommendation from 25 to 50 milligrams of Seroquel, is that still within the range for treatment for insomnia?
Yes.
So would you characterize that as a low dose, a high dose?
A low dose.
And as far as her statement about intrusive thoughts, fair to say your response doesn't ask her more specifics about those thoughts, right?
No.
But you reiterate to her, just as you had in the lengthy messages where you provided information, that intrusive thoughts are pretty common.
Correct.
Now, did she respond to that message?
She did.
And so at 9:04 on December 2nd, there's a response from Lindsay Clancy. I'm willing to try anything. I just keep coming back to the feeling that I'm dependent on Ativan after my 2.5 weeks of taking it daily with Benadryl, following the bad reaction to Zoloft. I feel addicted to it, and I feel like I'm not being heard, that is a possibility. I feel like we are throwing all these different meds at my insomnia when the root cause is Ativan dependence. I don't feel any of the anxious thoughts I had before. I feel completely numb. So you got that message from her at 9:04, correct?
I did.
And what was your concern when you got that message, or did you have any concern?
I wouldn't say I had concern. I just wanted to, again, provide her some information about what I thought might be happening.
Based on your training and experience as a psychiatric nurse.
Sorry, she didn't finish her answer, please.
Okay, yep. Go ahead.
I was finished.
Okay, well, she's finished. All right, next question.
Based on your training and experience as a psychiatric nurse, and you said you had some experience with substance use, did you feel that there was a dependency issue or an addiction issue with Ativan?
I did not.
Is it fairly common that Ativan is going to make somebody feel better if they're feeling anxious?
Yes.
That's why you take it, right?
Yes.
And that's why you take it as needed. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So in your response to her at 9:37, do you make clear to her the difference between dependence and addiction?
I do.
Okay. And as far as benzodiazepines go, there's a real concern for dependence and addiction in the fields. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
But based on taking it for 2.5 weeks, taking it to address actual symptoms of anxiety, did you have a concern of dependence?
No.
And so did you articulate to her that anything about that concept of dependence versus addiction? What did you say?
I said, I wonder if you fear you're becoming dependent on the benzodiazepines, and there's a subtle difference between dependence and addiction. With addiction, there's a change in behavior caused by biochemical changes in the brain after continued substance abuse. The substance use becomes the main priority of the person with the substance use disorder, regardless of the harm it causes to themselves or others. With dependence, we're referring to physical dependence on a substance characterized by symptoms of tolerance. Characterized by symptoms of tolerance and withdrawal. Benzodiazepine withdrawal is similar to alcohol withdrawal symptoms. We would be seeing things like elevated vital signs, high blood pressure, tachycardia, diaphoresis, mild alteration of mental status, initially with a possibility of perceptual disturbances, delirium, dysphoria, and tremors. Did the insomnia predate the Ativan use? I hear your concerns about the benzos. So my recommendation is do not take them every night. I recommend taking only every other night, and then we will not refill it.
And so what's diaphoresis?
Sweating.
Okay. And in the fields of prescribing psychiatric medications, do you often have to deal with physical dependency and then addressing it later?
I wouldn't say often.
Is there a way to address that as far?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so that wasn't a concern of yours regarding Ativan, was it?
Not at that time.
And what about her statement about not being heard? Did you see that in her message? Where she says, I feel like I'm not being heard about addiction.
That being a possibility.
As a psychiatric nurse practitioner dealing in psychiatric medicine, is it important to you when a patient tells you that I don't feel I'm heard?
Yes.
And do you take that in consideration when addressing them and continuing to build that relationship?
Yes.
And so in this case with the defendant, with Lindsay Clancy, did that change your approach with her at all?
It's why I sent the message that I did, trying to explain what addiction versus dependence and tolerance is. And I wanted to reassure her that we will try to have you take these less frequently and we don't need to continue them moving forward.
So she advocated for herself and you took that into consideration and created an alternative plan or suggested an alternative plan?
Yes.
Did your care of her change at all when she told you she wasn't being heard?
I wouldn't say it changed.
You treated her as you would any other patient, right?
Correct.
Now, you continued to have messages with her throughout that day. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And so at 10:02, you receive a message from her. It says, the insomnia started from the Zoloft, but then after the 2 weeks of daily Ativan and Benadryl use, that's when the insomnia was at its worst. I've tried so many different sleeping aids at this point, trazodone, Ambien, Remeron, Seroquel, and they all seem to barely touch the sleep until I take Ativan with them. So tonight I will try 15 of Remeron with 50 of Seroquel. I fear that if I wake up in the middle of the night with intrusive thoughts again, I will feel like I need Ativan. Do you recall her sending that message at 10:02?
I do.
And that she sent another message, it's kind of cut off, but it's still within the 10 o'clock hour, where she adds, I also just feel concerningly numb right now, like I have no emotion whatsoever. I feel like I'm going to die and I don't care. What do I do about this?
I do recall that message, yes.
And this is a message that she sent when she would have been or have seen Letitia Dukes already, right? If she had a 9 o'clock appointment?
Yes.
When she sent that message to you, did you respond back to her at 11:35?
I did.
And with the fact that she talked about being numb and having no emotions, feel like I'm going to die and don't care, what did you do?
I said, this sounds like depression and anhedonia symptoms. I would say if you're feeling unsafe, particularly as we head into the weekend, it is important for you to have information for psych emergency services available to you. And I provided a list of the 24-hour emergency service programs like mobile crisis intervention.
Okay. And when you say anhedonia, excuse me if I mispronounced that, what does that mean?
Anhedonia is a symptom of depression where people are unable to feel pleasure. They might describe it as feeling numb. They're unable to look forward to things.
And in her message where she says, I feel like I'm going to die and I don't care, did you take that as a suicidal thought or suicidal ideation?
No.
And so did you tell her to go to the ER right away?
No.
Did you have concerns that she needed to get a higher level of care at that moment when she sent that message?
My concern about that statement was that I wanted her to have access to resources if it escalated or if it worsened. So I made sure she had it.
Okay. And fair to say you also, at the end of that message, indicate, are you able to get rest or reach out to your support system so that you can be helpful, so they can be helpful to you right now, and that this is hugely important.
I did say that, yes.
And 11:41 a.m., she responds, yes, I have support. My parents are here to help. And again, this is 12:02. Does this sound like side effects to Remeron or Seroquel? I have never felt anything like this before. And then 11:57, she sends another message. Do you think over time these symptoms will go away over time? 12:04, another message from her. Is there any chance you could give me a call to discuss when you have a minute? At 12:10 p.m., and just to confirm, your recommendation for tonight is 15 Remeron, 50 Seroquel, and avoid Ativan, even if I'm not sleeping. So you got those messages in succession, right?
I did.
And were you able to eventually respond to her with a phone call?
I responded to the message at 12:12 p.m. I wrote it down for her.
And again, in your response to her, did you reiterate that these are pretty common signs of depression, and that what she was expressing to you wasn't uncommon in women with postpartum depression?
Correct. I said it sounds more like depression than side effects. It's not uncommon for me to hear, I've never felt anything like this before, or I just don't feel like myself. All of this sounds like postpartum depression.
And did you further try to give her some encouraging words?
Mm-hmm. I shared a passage from a book called This Isn't What I Expected.
And is that book kind of centered around postpartum depression?
Yes.
And did you also tell her this is going to get better?
I said, even though they feel terrible, remember that they're symptoms of an illness that is very real and very treatable. This is going to get better.